What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Talkin Sports with Jake. Hope you're doing well. Shorter show today, but wanted to get some content up today. A couple of NFL coaching and GM carousel stuff that happened earlier today and over the last day or two. Plus, I do want to preview the Royal Rumble, which is tomorrow. So let's get right into it. The Minnesota Vikings fired general manager Kwesi Adolfo-Mensah. He is out in Minnesota after 4 seasons. Very surprising, kind of came out of nowhere. There was maybe a speculation here today that maybe he gets they would have booed him after the season after a disappointing year, but it did not happen. But surprisingly, after he was in charge of scouting at the Senior Bowl that just happened, he has been fired. Look, the timing is very odd. Why you would do this right after the Senior Bowl, but if you look at what they have working, like what he's the work that he's done, hasn't been that great. I mean, first off, trading up a spot to the 10th pick to grab J.J. McCarthy is just horrendous, and then seeing Sam Darnold, a guy he brings in, go out there and have a career year, throws 35 touchdowns, wins 14 games, takes your team to the playoffs. And you let him walk for 9. Like, what are we doing? You let the guy walk for, probably the worst quarterback in the NFL, maybe outside of Shedeur Sanders in terms of guys who started, enough games last year. Like, that's just a horrendous decision. They have a quarterback on a rookie contract, and they are nearly $50 million over the cap. The only team that's over the cap more is the Kansas City Chiefs. Just look at the rest of the roster. Yes, it's very good. However, he took over a team that had a relatively decent roster. So I'm not sure how much of that is truly on him. And that is a fireable offense too. You know, choose J.J. McCarthy over Sam Darnold. And the roster manager has been pretty porous these last couple of years. You see, what they did with the quarterback was not, on top of that, you gave up 3 draft picks for Sam Howell. Realize, oh crap, this guy blows. That's why he was only a 5th-round pick and has been on 3 different teams in 5 years. So you cut him in camp. Then you panic sign Carson Wentz because you needed a legit backup, and that's not Max Brosmer, who was god awful. He was worse than J.J. McCarthy in the game he played this year. So I'm not really sure what he was doing with that. That was definitely some poor roster management. If you want to blame Kevin O'Connell partly for that as well, but that was a fireable offense. And you have a rookie quarterback contract and you're $50 million over the cap, just about. That's really hard to fathom. We did some good things, like Donovan Jackson was a 1st-round pick. He was pretty good, but he hasn't invested enough in the offensive line. And he made some decent signings last year, but just not enough. And he's out in Minnesota. But moving on, we had a GM hiring in the NFL. The Atlanta Falcons have hired Bears assistant general manager Ian Cunningham as a general manager. Of course, several weeks ago they hired a longtime quarterback, Matt Ryan, to be their team president. Ian Cunningham will serve under him and will be the general manager. Cunningham's been a hot GM candidate for several seasons now. He finally gets his first crack at being a general manager with the Atlanta Falcons. I think this is a good hire for them. Of course, they brought in Kevin Stefanski as their new head coach. He brought Tommy Rees with him to be his offensive coordinator. I'm not sure how that'll work out, but we'll see what happens. Look, the Falcons, if they can get competent quarterback play next year, could at least win the NFC South. That division is very bad. Falcons were eliminated from playoff contention with a month to go. The season still finished tied for first, so bad the division was. Carolina put up a good fight in the first round against the Rams, but 8-9, you shouldn't be going to the postseason. So bad the division was, but Ian Cunningham is the new general manager in Atlanta. And in terms of the coaching carousel, Broncos passing game coordinator Davis Webb is backed out of the Las Vegas Raiders head coaching position. It looks like he'll be the new offensive coordinator in Denver. Going to get the promotion, it looks like. And in terms of the Raiders, looks like they're going to hire Clint Kubiak. Adam Schefter said either them or Arizona will hire him. Looks like it'll probably be the Raiders if I had to guess. He's been the favorite for that job for a while now. So look at that will be the next coach of the Raiders. And the Miami Dolphins have found an offensive coordinator. Jeff Hafley has tabbed Sean Mannion, the Packers quarterbacks coach, as his next offensive coordinator. He has taken a lot of Green Bay staff with him to Miami. Sean Mannion was briefly a quarterback in the league, was like a second, third string quarterback, was in Minnesota briefly, and was the quarterbacks coach in Green Bay this past season. He follows Jeff Hafley to Miami. He will be their offensive coordinator. Not sure how this will work out. I mean, it's a former quarterback, doesn't have a lot of experience. I mean, I think Miami in general is just a joke. I don't hate the John Eric Sullivan hire. I mean, that's the general manager, but Hafley as a head coach will hire left a lot to be desired, and his staff so far just bring the Green Bay staff with him. I mean, when a guy just kind of brings his team with him, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. It's usually pretty hit or miss. But I guess this will probably be a miss. Just Miami's such a mess up situation. Hafley is such an underwhelming hire as the head coach. But Mannion's new offensive coordinator in Miami. And just want to announce, got some, I'll cover the hockey in the show, but congratulations to Patrick Kane. Last night, he passed Mike Modano for the most points by a U.S.-born player in NHL history. So congratulations to Patrick Kane. Let's talk about the NBA standings. We are nearing the trade deadline. Did my trade deadline preview yesterday. Trade deadline is in 6 days. All-Star break is approaching somewhat soon as we approach February. Let's get into it as we are just in the second half of the season. The Detroit Pistons leave the Eastern Conference. They are 34-12 right now. They've had a great year. Kate Cunningham has been great. It's a team that's very good, very deep, very good defensively. Of course, last year, small breakout, making the postseason, and this year have a chance to really have a potentially deeper run. They are right now the first seed in the East. 5.5 games clear of the New York Knicks and the Boston Celtics. Knicks are 29-18. They were struggling for a while, starting to play some better basketball. Still think they're a flawed team. A lot of trade rumors about Giannis, who currently Towns has been in the midst of those rumors as well. You see mock trades everywhere from every single NBA media source possible. Giannis to the Knicks for this guy and that guy and this pick and that pick, and this team is involved as well. A lot going on, but look, they're 29-18. They're a good team. Are they great? Not so sure. And offensively, they are very good, one of the best teams in the league. Defensively, they're not great. And but that's kind of what you expected with Mike Brown coming in. They're replacing Tom Thibodeau. It's nice to have a bench piece here. Didn't have that last year, but they're 29-18. But kudos to Boston. Kudos to Jaylen Brown. He should be first from Columbia. He is absolutely balling. Not sure how that was going to look with Jason Tatum injured. He's been probably the best second option in the league as long as he's been there. He's a great player, all NBA caliber guy. But him as the first option, even some Celtics fans are a little worried, like, yeah, I just don't think that's the role for him. It clearly is, because he has been absolutely incredible this year. And despite not having Jason Tatum, obviously Kristaps Porzingis was traded in the offseason, as was Jrue Holiday. A lot of these younger guys have stepped up. Sam Hauser, Anthony Simons has played very well. And the Celtics, this is probably, they've probably had the least amount of expectations probably maybe in this century. With obviously you only won a championship 2 years ago, you knew that Jason Tatum was going to play. The roster looked different, and you're tied for second in the Eastern Conference. So kudos to them. Toronto Raptors are in fourth at 29-20. They were a good team. Their last game, tough loss to the Knicks, getting blown out, especially in the second half. But good team playing well. Very good young team. If they're healthy, they are a very solid team. They've been involved in trade rumors for a lot of potential all-stars. Anthony Davis, John Morant are two. Those are obviously aren't as attractive, but they're been talking to them about Domantas Sabonis as well. We'll see what happens in a few days. Cavs 29-20. They've been playing well lately. They've won 5 in a row. Donovan Mitchell just put up 40 against the Lakers. He had another big game last night, so he's been balling out. He'll definitely be an all-star this year, I would think. But as a team, they have taken a bit of a step back last year. Over 60 wins, were the first seed in the conference despite their early playoff exit this year. Right now, you are fifth in the Eastern Conference, tied for fifth slash fourth with Toronto. Philadelphia is sixth, better than they were last year. Embiid's been mostly healthy. Paul George is healthier than he was last year. Tyrese Maxey's been fantastic. VJ Edgecombe, Rookie of the Year is going to be really fun between Cooper Flag, Con Kneppel, and Charlotte. And VJ Edgecombe. That guy Edgecombe is really good. You saw in his debut game, he had like, what, 34 points. That's a solid basketball team. In the play-ins, Miami at 26 and 23. They got off to a really good start this year, Miami. A lot of those young guys were playing really well. Norman Powell probably had the best year of his career. But lately, they have not been playing well. I've kind of fallen back to earth. Lately, even slightly better after a rough stretch. But back in the playing where they have been the last 2 years. Orlando's at 24 and 22. I thought they would be a lot better than they have been. They're still at 24 and 20 to the 8th seed in the Eastern Conference. Not bringing in Desmond Bane. And that's the McKellar trade all over again. Good player, good fit. He's had a solid season, but just 4 first-round picks. He's just not worth 4 first-round picks. He's just not. Orlando's sitting at 8th. 9th is the Atlanta Hawks. 24 and 26, of course, trade Trae Young to Washington for Corey Kispert and CJ McCollum a couple of weeks ago, and they've been just as mediocre. A lot of young talent on that team. There's rumblings. Maybe they're involved in the Giannis sweepstakes. Doubt it happens, though. And their team, see what they do at the trade deadline. Do I flip Kristaps Porzingis? What do I do with all this, this young core? Try and capitalize on it. We'll see what they do. The Bulls are the last team in the play right now, 23 and 25. I really think they're going to flip Nikola Vucevic. Kobe White could be next out the door. But they're not going anywhere. They're going to lose them to play in. Probably best case scenario. But Charlotte Hornets, 21 and 28. 2 out of the play-in. They started off really, really bad, but this last month have been one of the better teams in basketball. Have won their last 5 games. You had a great showing against Dallas last night, picking up the victory, 34 points for Con Kneppel. He might have been Rookie of the Year. That's a really good young team. They are finally trending in the right direction. They like Charles Lee. And honestly, if I had to bet on it, they would probably make the play-in. I think they would end up making the play-in. The Bucks are sadness of the table basketball team. How do you have Giannis on your basketball team and you are the 12th team in the Eastern Conference? Trade him tomorrow, please. There is nothing to like on my team. Miles Turner's a fine stretch 5. You signed him in the offseason. Ryan Rollins is pretty good. Other than that, there is nothing to like on that team. AJ Green's another random player they have. Pat Connaughton's old. Trade him, get some salary relief, get back a couple of young players, get back all his draft picks, and just try and do something. The Brooklyn Nets are god awful. They are 12 and 34. They have lost 7 games in a row, 9 in the last 10. They need to trade Michael Porter Jr. He's averaging almost 26 points a game. He's playing great, but trade him only another year on his deal. You will not be good next year. Ivy will be just as bad. Trade him. Cam Thomas, a free agent to be. The guy's always hurt, plays no defense, puts up 40 shots a game. Trade him, get what you can for him. And the only legit young pieces on my team are... you drafted 5 guys in the first round. Like any of them are any good. I don't think Igor Feminin's anything special. Danny Wolf is pretty good. Other than that, not a whole lot to like. Say when they did it, no reason to trade Cameron Johnson for Michael Porter Jr. MPJ is the worst version of Cameron Johnson. And he's older and more expensive. I like Nick Claxton at this point. Might as well trade him too. That team is god-awful. The Wizards are 12 and 34. They just suck. I don't know if Trae Young's even played since he got there. I know, because the Knicks have their pick if it's outside the top 8. Doubt that happens, though. And the Pacers are at 12 and 36. They are the worst team in the Eastern Conference. I didn't think they'd be this bad. I knew they would regress with Halliburton being injured this year and Miles Turner leaving, but they still have some pretty good depth. You still have a lot of young talent on that team, from Benedict Mulford to Aaron Nesmith. But they've been really bad. They've had a lot of guys hurt as well, but they're 12 and 36. In the West, Thunder had the best record in basketball, 38 and 11. They've definitely come back to earth after to start the year. They're 23 and 1 or something. We all thought they might break the Warriors wins record. Not going to happen, obviously, but still a great team. They still are the best defensive team in basketball, stats wise, by a decent margin. They're playing great. They've had a bunch of injuries as well this year. Jalen Williams, they had like 1 loss the first month and a half without Jalen Williams. Spurs were in second place. That's a really good team. And everyone's saying maybe they should trade for Giannis. I wouldn't do it. Their team chemistry is at an all-time high. Wembanyama is obviously a different breed. And Wemby misses like a month of action. They still are second in the Western Conference. It happened almost all year. In top 4 or 5 all year. A lot of young talent on my team. Dylan Harper, De'Aaron Fox. That's an excellent basketball team. And they're the only team that's really consistently beat the Thunder this year. Third for Denver Nuggets. Kudos to them. Hanging in there without Jokic just last month. He's back playing against the Clippers. That's a really good team. The offseason additions of Cam Johnson and Jonas Valanciunas were very helpful. Jamal Murray has had a really good year. He might make an all-star team. Houston Rockets are in fourth. Amen Thompson's a good young player. Kevin Durant's been very good this year. Another team, a lot of young talent on my team. Efren Sengun's a great player. Jamari Smith has been good. In the fifth is Minnesota Timberwolves. Apparently they're talking to the Bucks about Giannis. I've seen they're good. Like Anthony Edwards is a great player. Julius Randle's had a good year. You Gobert, Nasri, you get the deal. It's the same team in the last 2 years, but we got to take that next step, and you might need Giannis to do it. So honestly, that's where I think he ends up. To be honest, the Lakers are the sixth team in the West. Not much to say here. LeBron's washed, needs to retire. Luka's actually been having probably this year of his career, honestly. Reeves was hurt for a while, now he's back. And Hachimura is just fine. Marcus Smart and DeAndre Ayton have done nothing like I thought they were going to. Now, Dalton Connect doesn't want to be there. That's why you basically told me you're traded last year. Like, oh, wait, no, you're not traded because Mark Williams' body doesn't work. And so, yeah, I don't blame him. The Suns are 29-19. They've been a good team this year. Devin Booker's been great. The New Look Suns have been better than they were last year, at least. Dylan Brooks has actually played some good basketball for them. Some of those young guys have played well. The Warriors are in eighth. They're going to be a playing team this year. Jimmy Butler is out for the year. To see how the team is old. I heard they might trade for Giannis. Not sure how that would do that. Maybe Kuminga, Pods, somebody else. Maybe Quentin Post is in that trade, and 3 first-round picks that they have. That would probably what it would look like. Obviously, Kuminga doesn't want to be there. Part of me is meant to trade Draymond, just make the trade work. So we'll see what happens. Portland is the ninth spot. Also, I'll say this. Kudos to them for not completely bottoming out. Their coach was just arrested in front of them. But they have some talented pieces on the team. Shaedon Sharpe, I think, has a lot of talent. Even Scoop Henderson is playing better. Jeremy Grant. I can see them being maybe involved in the Giannis trade. They won't get Giannis house, but maybe in a 3-team trade, they move Jeremy Grant's contract. Maybe the Knicks throw them like Gershon Yabusele, something like that. Maybe somebody throws them a draft pick or two. I can see that happening. The Clippers have completely turned things around. At one point, they were 15 of 18. They went from looking like they were going to be a bottom 5 team to now they right now are the last team in the play-in. So it looks like they'll make the play-in. Still don't think they win a playoff round, but they have played a lot better. And then the teams are out. Grizzlies 18-27, just blow it up. You got 4 first for Desmond Bain. Try and get something for John Morant. You can get a haul for Jaren Jackson Jr. Just tear it apart. Dallas 19-29, same thing. To get something for Anthony Davis. If Kyrie was healthy, I would say you trade him. Well, AD isn't healthy either, but he played at some point this year. And just, Cooper Flag is bowling out. He had 4-9 last night in a loss. He's going to be a rookie of the year, most likely. Utah 15-33. They've been playing horrible lately. They're not very good. I would trade Lauri Markkanen. No reason to pay him that if you're not going to be winning. Like, get a King's ransom back for him. I do like Ace Bailey, though. Sacramento Kings are 12-37. They've lost 7 in a row. They are utterly terrible. They're just an embarrassment of a basketball team. And they also need to tear it apart. Trade Sabonis, Malik Monk, DeRozan, Levine, everyone. Just get out. There's a horrific organization. And they have the worst record in basketball, along with the New Orleans Pelicans, who suck. A couple of young guys I like. I do like the 2 wings, Jones and Trey Murphy. Trey Murphy's really good. Jones is a great defender. Zion has played well. I will say he's been mostly healthy. Derek Queen. Look, trading a first round pick was here much smart, especially in this class. But Derek Queen is really good. But they gotta, change something. I would trade Zion. I know they're not going to. I would hold on to Murphy for at least till summertime. Herb Jones, I'd probably trade first before any of those guys, to be honest, and get something for Jordan Poole. He's a fine player, but he's not going to change the franchise by any means. To finish off, let's preview the Royal Rumble. So the 4 matches on the card. We got both Rumbles, of course. The undisputed WWE Championship is Drew McIntyre against Sami Zayn, and then we have AJ Styles against Gunther. If Gunther wins, AJ Styles has to retire. So starting with the two singles matches, I do think AJ Styles defeats Gunther. After, it's weird. So Shinsuke Nakamura, after the match he had with Styles, that was the last time ever between those two, posted something and then deleted it. It was something about how an old conversation he had with AJ Styles saying that AJ Styles told him privately that he planned on the Royal Rumble being his last ever match, which would make sense. People got to remember, everyone's like, oh, he didn't get a true retirement tour. This isn't like John Cena, where Cena's been, he carried the company for a decade and he comes back and does some part time so everyone loves him. He did it for 20 years. AJ Styles has been doing this forever. He was on the indie scene for a while. Like a lot of the guys in the WWE, TNA, and AEW, he's never fought in WWE, but he had a match with them many times. Everyone's like, oh, him and CM Punk first time ever. Those two have known each other for a very long time. Like when CM Punk said in the promo, I've known him for 20 years. That wasn't like that was actually a true fact. Like he's the greatest TNA wrestler of all time. Like the guy's been around for forever. It's just that, it was kind of sudden that this match is coming up like this. Also, Cena, he hasn't been full time since 2015. You know, he even said as good as the quality of a lot of his matches, the reason they've been such good is because he's putting everything he has into it. Like after this year, he said, "I have nothing left." AJ Styles looks incredible, great, obviously a great athlete, but he's still performing like he did 10 years ago. Like it's insane. Like he doesn't have to retire. He could probably go another 5 years if he wanted to. But he's married. Him and his wife have a very nice marriage. Apparently, I'm pretty sure Styles didn't like take a big wrestling gig so that his wife could like could have a really nice career. Like he's very happily married. He lives in Atlanta. It's, very nice down there. No state tax. He's nothing left to prove. So I could see it being his last match. However, you got him coming out saying he wants to be world champion one more time. Yeah, match with Punk. Of course, Finn Balor interrupts him and Javon Evans. Had a backstage thing where Javon Evans wanted to fight him wants to have a match with him. So I don't think they'd be doing all this for nothing. I don't know where they would go with that. So I think he will win this match. If you asked me last week, I would say Gunther probably wins. But I think AJ Styles wins, and he should win this match. McIntyre against Sami Zayn. McIntyre has to retain. Everyone's like, oh, Sammy's never won against Drew. Like, honestly, I'm really tired of Sami Zayn. For a couple of years now, every single story, it's him, his music hits, everyone goes, let's go. He marches down to the ring, yells on the top turbo, he grabs a mic, he's like, oh, I've always been the underdog. Now I'm one of the best wrestlers in the world. I'm gonna be world champion. He's screaming at the crowd. He's telling the fans he loves them, and then somebody interrupts, and it doesn't happen. I'm like, enough. On top of, we got to deal with him coming out in this stupid Saudi Arabia gear in Saudi Arabia. I don't want to deal with him being world champion. He's gotten boring. His telling would be more boring than Cody's, to be honest. Drew has to win. Drew has to win. And as for the Rumbles, the Women's Royal Rumble, I'm not going to go through who is confirmed for it. That kind of defeats the purpose of the Royal Rumble. Get rid of the element of surprise. I don't like that superstars do that. My predictions are who is winning. I think it will be Liv Morgan. I feel like this has been talked about for a while. Obviously she was hurt for a while, and then she comes back, obviously, at Survivor Series to help Dom defeat John Cena and win back his Intercontinental title. And, the fact that she's still a heel, they haven't turned her full-on face yet, but they're still, but still there's kind of like some changes, like the way she's interacting with Finn Balor. She hasn't been, interacting with Dom Mysterio as much in recent weeks. And the fact that for now she's teaming with Roxanne Perez, you'd think when she come back she would be mad at her, kind of taking her spot, maybe mad at Raquel for kind of just tossing her aside and forming a tag team with Roxanne. So, and they've had her lose her last bunch of matches. I think they're hyping up to try and because everyone knows she's a top candidate to win this Rumble. Really, since she got hurt, people were saying that that's going to be her return. So I think she's going to win the Rumble. Or would not be surprised if Bianca Belair, who I think will return and it wins. Though it's tough to have somebody, return and win the Rumble. It's happened before. They tried it with Charlotte last year. It didn't really work. On the men's side, they did it with Bautista years ago. But I think Liv Morgan will win the Royal Rumble. The men's Rumble. So women's Rumble, we don't really know who's going to win, but I think it's we got some pretty clear contenders. Liv Morgan and Bianca Belair, I think, are two clear women. Assuming Vaquer and Jade Cargill are taking their titles into WrestleMania, I think that the writing is kind of on the wall there. For the men's match, little lit less black and white. It's kind of a bunch of different people that could hypothetically win it. As for who I think is going to win it, I'm gonna go bold here. I'm gonna say Obafemi. Obafemi should win the Rumble. Okay, Obafemi should win the Rumble. No one wants to see Roman Reigns win the Rumble. It's like, oh well, the Bloodline Killer McIntyre. That storyline was a year and a half ago. They completely flopped with it. They dropped it too early. Not sure why they did drop it, to be honest. Um, like going back to it, I think would be kind of silly at this point. No one wants to see Roman Reigns in the main event of WrestleMania at this point. He doesn't show up enough. No one wants to see Cody Rhodes in it. No one wants to see Jey Uso in the world title again. Randy Orton has a case. I think he definitely has a case. I think him and Drew could make a great program. Now, I could see maybe if you don't take title off CM Punk before WrestleMania, maybe him and somebody else at WrestleMania. I don't think they're going to do that though. I mean, him and Cody Rhodes was such a layup at WrestleMania this year, and they just kind of faded away from it. I'm hoping they turn Cody heel, and then that's the program they go of. I think I could see them still doing that match. So he has a case. Braun Breaker would make a great case, but again, you don't do what you did with Jey Uso. You have him lose to Gunther, and you have him win the Rumble, and then you have him beat Gunther at the Rumble. I mean, at the WrestleMania. Granted, Braun Breaker is going to be the face of the company in 2 years. Jey Uso is terrible, the most overpushed wrestler in wrestling history. But Braun, as again, you don't want to. I mean, they should have put the title on Braun, 4 weeks ago when he fought CM Punk. But CM Hogan, as I call him, is an arrogant piece of garbage, so he didn't want to put him over, obviously. So that would make a whole lot of sense. I could see, maybe them taking the title off CM Punk and Braun winning the Chamber. So he's a prime candidate to win this as well. If LA Knight returns, I could see him winning it. That would be a big surprise. I would love it to happen. I think every wrestler would love it to happen. I don't think it's happening. I think kind of like Braun, their chance he wins he comes back as a strong showing. Maybe he's like the final six, gets eliminated, and maybe he wins the Chamber so they can build this up a little bit more. And go. That would be how we get the world title chance then. But I think it will be Obafemi. That's my bold pick. Obafemi wins the men's Royal Rumble. All right. That's all I got for you guys today. Till next time, so long. Have a great day.